Hey friends, this is Dolony TV. Glad to have you aboard here this evening. Labor Day, still no Oilers news. They were out on the ice today, though, some of the guys. So that's good news. But yeah, that leaves us to maybe complete the trifecta of previews I've had planned for this offseason. We already talked a little bit about the Calgary Flames. Then we've talked about why the NHL should fear the Edmonton Oilers this year. Now it's time to talk, at long last, well, they're furthest back in the alphabet anyway, the Vancouver Canucks. And of course, a team that on the verge of just absolute collapse last year might have done enough this offseason or will be just as bad this year. I don't know. We'll discuss that more here in a matter of moments. If you are new to the channel, friends, thanks for being aboard. I'd love if you could hit that subscribe button. That's, again, just an easier, free way to get the videos a little bit faster. And, of course, appreciate all the views nonetheless. That's really the way to put it. Okay, well, me stammering through my own intro, let's get past that and let's get into the Vancouver Canucks, who, well, what do we know? Well, they had that big JT Miller guy on the team last year, ended up a circus show for them with him and Pettersson and the whole 9 yards, and obviously losing to the Oilers the year before in the playoffs and then missing the playoffs this past year. And yet, I will tell you, from my standpoint, while the Calgary Flames are likely, poised to do about what they did last year or take a step back, the Canucks are, if the Flames don't, the team that will make things interesting in the Pacific Division. I think from a realistic standpoint, given the additions, all the Oilers, that the LA Kings added, or ex-Oilers, however you want to put it, given as well that the Vegas Golden Knights got Mitch Marner, I think the top three in the Pacific Division, no matter how you want to rank them, I've got the Oilers coming out first if they can start on time this year, but no matter how you want to rank them, LA, Vegas, Edmonton, that's the way it's going to go in the top three. That's the way it seems like it's been for a long while here. So that aside, what we've got a situation then instead of is who is 4-5. And while the Flames very well I could see being 5 if not 4, can the Canucks be that team that is 4 or 5? And if the Canucks are good, the Flames are good, the Oilers are good, and of course you got LA and Vegas in there as well, it is going to be an interesting mix all season long in the Pacific Division for the NHL. And while a good Canucks team obviously wouldn't be a surprise given the cast of characters they have, right? Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson times 2. They've got some big guys on the defense. Again, if they can hone in and keep things to the outside, you'd figure they'd do well. Again, the goaltending should be a little bit healthier this year. They've made their decision, traded Archer Shelovs out of town. So now, what else can really the Canucks do? They've signed Vitaly Kravtsov back to the squad, and then of course Evander Kane joined from the Edmonton Oilers. So while you'd say, well, maybe the drama around the team last year was why they didn't succeed, I wouldn't say necessarily they went out there and got any big free agent acquisitions, nor did really a lot of teams this year in any sense of the word. Like, there isn't anything other than maybe Mitch Marner, and again, the discourse around that maybe not so good this week, but yeah, really, the race in the West is not as scary for the Oilers as it seems to have been the past 2 years, and maybe more so based on the results of, hey, you know what, we go out there, get a little younger and faster in the regular season, go out there and start a little bit better, get a little bit better puck luck, keep some pucks out of our net because we got a new goaltending coach, things will be good. The Vegas Golden Knights obviously had Mitch Marner, and then you got the Vancouver Canucks who, quieter offseason, but did make that Evander Kane move. And we know what Kane did for the Oilers in the playoffs, right? He was an absolute force until the Cup final when he got neutralized by, whether you want to say the Florida Panthers antagonism or whether you want to say the refereeing. That's up to you. You make that decision. And that's kind of where for the Canucks is maybe the player that Evander Kane is at this current stage of his career is just the piece they are missing, especially playing in his hometown and, getting back to a full season at the NHL regular season level for possibly the first time in 3 years now for Evander Kane. So there could be a lot of positives to take out of things here for the Edmonton Oilers, rival the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously, if a quiet off season that leads a couple of pieces come in. Kravtsov obviously coming back, and then you've got Vander Kane coming in, and I think they've made some other depth moves as well. And you just kind of jumble that all together. Connor Garland has another good year. And suddenly you've got a team that really could be that troublesome team in the Pacific. And now how many games can Vancouver steal off of Calgary, Edmonton, Vegas, LA? Because if they can steal, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4 off of, each team in the top 4 there that I just named, it's going to be real messy, because then all of a sudden, if Anaheim's any better and Vancouver can stay ahead of the race because they're beating the better teams, the Pacific could be a real interesting mess this year, specifically if any of those top 3 teams struggle for an extended period, struggle out of the gate, or struggle at the end of the year, all of which the Edmonton Oilers know well over the past 2 years. Don't kid me there, but it's definitely a wide open game. I wouldn't necessarily say in terms of the top 3. I think that's pretty locked up, and there might be one surprise in there, which would be great. It's been pretty stale with Vegas, LA, and Edmonton dominating the Pacific the past several years. But again, I'm hoping the Oilers keep dominating. Now that said, there's some room for some surprise in the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames, the Anaheim Ducks. Again, what does Seattle and San Jose do this year, I guess, maybe factors in. But what would one figure is possibly if Vancouver really is able to steal those top few games off some top flight teams in the Pacific, Calgary is able to stay right there on the relevant cusp, and the Central Division is a little weaker than last year, well, guess what? We could all of a sudden see a situation where, and I will guarantee you Nashville might be better, but I would see a situation where the Pacific, I think for the first time in history, I don't know if it's ever happened yet, gets both wildcard spots. So if that is the case in the NHL playoff race this year, that could be a real interesting scenario for a team like the Vancouver Canucks, where, again, you know what they did to the Nashville Predators a couple years back, and again, the pushing the Oilers to the brink as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, friends, but I appreciate you being aboard as I work through some thoughts here on the Vancouver Canucks, who could be, the Flames, I understand, right? They are a hard-working team. They've got characteristics to make it, but the problem is they're likely trading Anderson. They're falling back, is at least the understanding, unless some young guys really take a step forward. But the Vancouver Canucks, kind of that team in the middle that should be able to do something if they can all put it together. Again, injuries, again, goaltending, everything that affects every NHL team, as long as it comes together for the Vancouver Canucks, it'll all work out in the end. Friends, thanks for being aboard. Again, this is just preview material, filler material as you would, as we get set up for, hopefully, a big day of Oilers news, NHL news tomorrow, Tuesday, September 2nd, following Labor Day Monday here. So for right now, I am up on out of here.